Good afternoon on this Sunday afternoon, and welcome to the Rewards Master Live. Hope everybody's doing well. This is the 59th live stream that I've had. Doesn't seem like I could possibly have had that many, but that's what the numbers say. So excited to join in and to talk some credit cards, points and miles, and I have a whole layout of things to discuss today. So let's see who we've got. Free Music says hello, Bop and company. All right, Free Music, good to have you with us. Looks like we have about 8 folks in here. That's the only comment so far. So today, as is my typical pattern, I'm going to go through my weekly topics, including new developments and travel report, the centerpiece. And today's centerpiece has to do with kind of evaluating cards and narrowing down which cards are most important, stuff like that. So, all right. We got a few more coming in here. So we jumped up real fast from about 2 people to about 20. So Ian is here. And hey, Ian, good to have you here. Says good day. Good day to you, sir. Chad Harmon says hello, sir. Good to have you in here, Chad. Juan Garcia, good afternoon, Bop. Hey, Juan. Juan, are you going to be at the creator meetup coming in a couple weeks? Hope so. Calder's, the Rewards Master Live. That's right. Good to have you in here, Calder's. Nuracan, hello there and good afternoon. Good afternoon to you too, Nuracan. Dim, good afternoon. Just got back from the Knoxville area. Lakefront cabin weekend was nice. Knoxville's a nice area. We don't get over there all that often, but sometimes as far as Chattanooga, so not that far away, but Just Gaming. Hey, Bob. Good to have you here, Just Gaming. Keith Williams gives us a thumbs up. And my good friend, Jimmy. Jimmy Duff is here. Says, hello, Bob. How are things up in Chicago, Jimmy? And Juan says, I will be there in Charleston in 2 weeks. Good. We'll have to have some good conversation about points and miles. Look forward to seeing you there. Are you staying at Wild Dunes or somewhere else? All right. Well, we have about 29:30 that are jumping in. James from Arizona says, good afternoon, Bop and chat. James, good to have you with us this afternoon. All right. So getting to just kind of the first thing on the agenda here. There we go. So on our new developments today, I wanted to talk a little bit about these rumors that we've been seeing on Danny the Deal Guru and over on Doctor of Credit as far as what they say might be some new sign-up bonuses on American Express cards. Now, the first thing that kind of strikes me about it is that I'm not surprised by much of anything in regard to a high sign-up bonus on an American Express card. That is their thing. And I'm grateful for it because when it comes to Amex cards, they are the engine behind many, many, many of our points earnings. Now, I don't mean spend-wise. I frankly don't find my Amex cards to be very good spending cards. And that wouldn't be true for a lot of people, but for me it is because my Amex cards just don't have as good a multiplier. So even though they have good multipliers, I just have better in my own setup with other, particularly with Citi. I have better spending multipliers, and I like Citi's points slightly better. But as far as an engine to get lots and lots of points, Nona and I both rely upon American Express as that engine. And it's because of the immense amounts of points that you can get. I mean, that's their thing. You got to spend a lot on the card with the annual fees, and you've got to spend a lot to get your sign-up bonus. But if you're willing to do that, it is profound how much you can get with American Express cards. Okay, we have a few more come in before we get into the individual rumored sign-up bonuses. And this has been out a few days, but I just, I don't do breaking news, so I just kind of wait to analyze and think about it. Juan Garcia staying at the Wild Dunes. Looking forward to seeing you there. Anybody else going to be at the Creator Meetup in a couple weeks? Quite excited about it. Anthony has done an awesome job about getting a bunch of stuff together and even having a venue that is being sponsored. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Whoopa, New York is here. Gives us a wave. Good to have you here. Cesar, hey, Good to see you, my friend. I was just thinking about, we were talking about the creator meetup, and I was thinking about what an awesome time it was last year. So hope that you'll be there as well, Cesar. Juan Garcia saying hello to Cesar. Jimmy Duff, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at the meetup. Hey, Jimmy, I got to meet Jimmy at the meetup last year. In fact, I still remember in that big square right there in the middle, you came up to me and we had a nice conversation. It was great. Juan Garcia, hey, Dem. Ebby Kayan is here and says, hello, esteemed rewards master. Well, that's a nice way to say that. I appreciate it. But hello to you. Good to have you here, Ebby. Cesar said hello to Juan. Jimmy Duff says hello to Cesar and how much he appreciated the PR meetup. It was great. Oh, and Ichachi gives 250 joules. MVP. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm still learning what these joules mean, but I know they have some monetary value, so I'm appreciative of it. Thank you. I think that's the equivalent of some kind of super chat or super sticker. Thank you very, very much, Ichachi. Mike Newland, the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only, is here. Does AA shopping and Simply Miles stack? Yes, they do. Yes, they do, Mike. So now finding something that's on both is kind of hard sometimes. And I have not, the Simply Miles thing, it hasn't worked for me all that well because I don't shop at those kind of places, very much. If I'm going to buy a shirt, it's probably not through Joseph A. Bank or whatever I was on there. I'm going to get it on, some other big retailer or something that won't be on there, or Walmart, or I don't buy shirts at Walmart. I don't even know why I said that, but Amazon sometimes. So I haven't used it a ton, but the times I have found it on both, it did stack. But Simply Miles is a MasterCard thing. You got to make sure you're using a MasterCard on there. I don't know if you've had that experience, but at least it was when I was using it, limited to MasterCards only. Ebby says, thank you, Mike Newland. Great question. Yeah, so check it. If you can find something on both, you can get the stack. AS1234 is here and says, hello, all. Good to have you here, AS. All right, so getting back to this. When it comes to these new bonuses, this is what the rumored bonuses are. So as far as they all go, to me, they range from meh to kind of pretty good. So going through them one by one. The first is the Delta Reserve, 50K points plus 2 round trip Comfort Plus tickets. And that's for 10,000 spent in 6 months. The 10,000 spent in 6 months, I don't think is weird. And 2 round trip Comfort Plus tickets, that could be worth north of $1,000, maybe up to $1,200. And you're getting 50K on top of that. I don't know what your estimation is on that, but I think that's a pretty good bonus. Now, the downside, I've heard people say, I'll say hello, Nona, since you're walking behind, but I've heard people say, well, the points would be better. I'm going to say probably not. And the reason I say it wouldn't be better to have points, even though, yes, these certificates will have a 1-year expiration on them. So you're going to have to use them in 1 year. But the problem with points is to get enough points to make that the same, like 2 round trip Comfort Plus, you're talking 50, 60,000 points in the continental U.S., especially if you go somewhere good, like maybe in the Caribbean or something. So 2 round trip Comfort Pluses, that would have to be 150 to 175,000 points for it to be comparable. And they just don't do that very often on the Delta Reserve. I think I've maybe seen close to 150 once, but I don't know. I do like the Delta Reserve card. I think it's a good card. If I didn't have, I always try to keep either that or an Amex Platinum or a Business Platinum because they all give lounge access to Delta Sky Clubs. But I do think the Delta Reserve is a pretty easy card to justify because even though it is a dog as a spending card, 3X on Delta, 1X on everything else of Delta miles. I mean, no thank you. But the perks on the card are good, and the credits on the card, as far as your return on your annual fee, is pretty good because you get a good rideshare credit, you get a good Resi credit, and in addition to that, of course, you get the companion certificate every year. So overall, I think it's a really a good card, and that seems like a very strong sign up bonus to me. Let's see what others have to say. Oh boy, a lot of comments have come in. Let me get some of these. Let me get some of these starred comments first. Wow. All right, Ichachi has been a member for 5 months. Thank you, my friend. It says enjoying the spreadsheet videos. Good. I'm glad you're enjoying those. Those are for if you're not a spreadsheet warrior, you can't know what he's talking about. But we record all of our spreadsheet warrior sessions, and I'm telling you, these are high level sessions because everybody in there is trying to play this game on expert mode. So we can ask each other questions, and I try to answer all the questions I can, but a lot of the questions are answered by spreadsheet warriors. And you can ask, you can clarify. It's just a different deal. So I'm glad that you're enjoying that. Those are one of the favorite things that I do as far as this channel is for my spreadsheet warriors. So if you haven't upgraded to spreadsheet warriors, that might be a good advertisement for why you might want to. All right, Dim gives $4.99. Thank you. Tumper Plus is definitely an upgrade. It's definitely a reposition. I don't remember who said reposition, but I like that better than being moved. So I'm going to say it's a reposition. But glad you're on Team Chad there, Dim. That's good, but thank you for the $4.99. Jimmy Duff, $4.99. Not sure what the jewels are. I don't know either, but I'm appreciative of them, and I'm appreciative of your $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Jimmy. And Mr. Mike Newland, the man, the myth, the legend, gives $60. Thanks for the answer. You're welcome, my friend. I hope that you can find a good way to use it and connect them together. Like I said, I have had it work before, but the hard part is lining up a place that you want that's on both platforms. That's what the hard part is. Ebby says Ebby gifted 5 Rewards Master memberships. That is awesome. Thank you very much, Ebby. Appreciate it very, very much. If you receive one of those memberships, make sure to give a big shout out and a big thanks. All right, let me go back to the regular comments now. Chad Harmon says, wish I could be there, but I have a couple trips planned in October and November. Will definitely be next year. Good. Well, the meetups are fun. They're fun because it's just sitting around for 4 days talking points and miles with people who know about points and miles. So that's what I tried. Honestly, after the meetup is when I came up with Spreadsheet Warriors, because I thought, how could I get this environment all the time? So it's like a retreat where people who play this game at a high level or want to learn how. I mean, I got so many good strategies just from sitting around eating dinner with people. So hopefully we'll all get to, those who are there, we'll get to eat breakfast together, hang out by the pool together, whatever it may be, just talk all the things that we're passionate about, which is points and miles. Dem says hello to Juan. Manuel Jimenez says, good day to everybody. Manuel, good to have you with us. Big Red is here, says greetings to Bop. Good greetings to you as well, my friend. Stacy, good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. Definitely excited to meet everyone in Charleston. I'm glad you're going to be there. Were you the one who said be nice to my husband? I'll be promised to be nice to him. So, yeah, it sounds great. And I you should be cooking dinner about now, right? Isn't that what you're doing Sunday afternoons? Mike says 100%, no question about it. I think he's talking about Spreadsheet Warriors. Free music. I think the numbers are just placeholder for the test site. I don't think we'll actually see these bonus values for real. Oh, you're meaning these rumored Amex bonuses. Well, we'll see. I don't think, though, that they're crazy out of line. I think these are definitely possible as far as, because like when you get to the platinum and the gold, the numbers aren't a lot higher than they've been in the past. So we'll see. Dem says we're spicing it up. Ian, those are all awful subs. I don't think that they're awful. I don't think that they're the best ever. But I do think that reserve is not terrible bad. The 2 round trip Comfort Plus, that can be, I don't know if you've priced Comfort Plus, but it can be pretty valuable. Mike Newland, nice, Ebby. Nick, going to cut the grass, and we'll catch the replay. Need to buy a riding mower so I can watch and cut at the same time. All right. I do so much. I do so much mowing. You can't even imagine because I mow 6 to 8 hours a week, and yeah, you need a riding mower. It makes YouTube. I got my Bose noise canceling headphones. I listen to all my YouTube videos either on my mower or in my car driving into town. So it's pretty fun. We got a Toro and an Ariens if you decide to get one. Both have been great mowers. I think the Toro is slightly better, but let's see. Ian says too easy to find the 300K reserve with 120K points is much better in my opinion. That's an easy Delta 1 redemption with, yeah, that's something about upgrades. Global companion upgrades, maybe. Cesar will do, Jimmy. Stinky Monkey says hello to you guys. Still the best name. I know some others are trying to, they're trying to compete with your cool name, Stinky, but yours is still tops in my book. Still loving it. And let's see. Vincent Pascal has been a member for 10 months. That's pretty awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. Glad to have you on board. Says happy Sunday. Vincent says, will you be attending the Chicago seminars in November? I don't know yet. I haven't really looked at it that close. If I can, I will. But because I've always wanted to go to one of those, but it might be sold out. The times I've tried to go before, they had limited attendance numbers. So I don't know. Chad's Money Minutes is here. Somebody just said something about Comfort Plus being an upgrade, and I told them they needed to be on Team Chad. So Chad, you might have, subconsciously heard that and decided to join in, but good to have you here. Keith Williams, what do you mean when you say someone bought 10 memberships? Are they gifting them to people? Yes, they're gifting memberships. So some people will receive them. And so I'm just saying to folks to make sure that they are grateful for that, to express gratitude. Chad Harmon, I use AA Portal on everything. I try to anyway. Yeah, I love AA shopping. That's why when everybody's always talking about Rakuten, and I think Rakuten's great, or Rove. A lot of people talk about Rove a lot. It's just I've used Rakuten some when there's something on there that's not on the AA portal, but pretty much I use the AA shopping portal most of the time because the points are usually just as good, and I get loyalty points. So, I mean, it's the AA shopping portal along with AA hotels are just the cheat code for getting loyalty and status with American Airlines. It's so very, very easy and very, very good. Whoopa New York says, how long after the rumors did Amex actually announce something historically? I don't know the answer to that. Somebody might know. Gentleman Explorer gives a $4.99 super chat. Thank you. And says landscaper credit. All right. Yeah. For the guy, that'll buy me a little bit of gas for my mowers. My gas bill is pretty high, and it's not because of my cars. It's because of my mowers. I mean, I spend about, I don't know, $25 a week, $30 a week in mower gas. And I have to buy some diesel too for a tractor for bush hogging. But yeah, so I'll put that towards mower gas for landscaping. Thank you. Ian, the one in October is way better than the one in November, in my opinion. You're talking about the meetups? Is that what we're discussing? The meetups? Chad says, Chad's Money Minutes. Stacy, Chicago seminars are not sold out. There are a few of us attempting a meetup at the seminars. First weekend in November. Okay, well, I'll look at it. And if I can come, I don't think I really have anything much in November, so I might be able to zip up for a day or two. Chicago's easy to get to because you can get a direct flight from anywhere, including Memphis to Chicago. Very easy, especially since they're a hub for AA and United. P-Mart Supermart, if Rakuten is not twice as much as AA shopping, I stick with AA shopping. That's what I do too. Ian, November is more focused towards beginners. So if you've never been, it's good to go to that one first. Okay. Beginners to the seminar or beginners to points and miles? Because I think I would be that first, but probably not the second. Mr. Newfie Poo. Okay, now that's competing with Stinky Monkey Baby. Not, I don't know if it's quite there, but that's a cool name. Just upgraded my Wells checking to Premier. Wish me luck applying for the premium version of the autograph. Oh, there's a Nona in the background. Autograph card, 100K sub. Yeah, that premier version of the autograph card is definitely better. Let me know how that goes, because I have a Wells account I could upgrade too. So I'd be curious to see how that pans out. King J says, I'm curious when the spending threshold would be lower on the platinum than the gold. Oh, why? Yeah, I was going to get to that in just a second. In fact, that's a good segue for us to move on and discuss them a little tighter. So the Delta Reserve, I think that one's pretty good. The Delta Platinum, 90,000 points plus $300 for 4K spend in 6 months. Now, the 4K spend in 6 months is that's just easy. That's nothing. That's less than $1,000 a month. So that part's not bad at all there. The $300 on top of 90K, I think that's a pretty good bonus, because 90K is a pretty typical bonus on that Delta card anyway. So a $300 statement credit, well, that's offsetting most of your annual fee for the year. So basically, you're getting an almost free annual fee plus 90,000 points. I think that's pretty good. On the Delta Gold, 80,000, which is just right below the Platinum, plus 250. Now, if that's the case, that one more than offsets the annual fee for 3K in 6 months, $500 a month. That's a excuse me, that's a really good bonus in my opinion. So I think those are good bonuses, because I mean, when are they going to be that much higher than that anyway? On occasion, but not a lot higher. So PMart Supermart, you think the city approval for the AA executive would be more lenient with the refreshed card? I mean, I can't say for sure, but my guess is when they refresh or when they come out with something new, yes, they typically are. And remember, City is easier on AA cards than they are on their thank you cards. They just are. So, yeah, if you wanted one, I think a good time to apply for it would be when they refresh it, for sure. I think that's all the comments so far. So let's go back to this. Now we get to the interesting ones. Amex Platinum. And this was pointed out why the thresholds, I think it was King J, that pointed out why are the threshold, why is it less spending for Platinum? That's why I do believe that this is a test thing and probably not going to be the end result, because 185K, okay, that's a better sign up. And these are, of course, up to, right? That's how Amex is doing it these days, up to. And it's been 175K. So this is 10,000 more, 11,000K in 6 months. That's an odd number. And then you go down to the Amex Gold, 105K, 12,000 spend in 6 months. So if this ends up being true, which it very well may not, but if this ends up being true, I think that the Amex Platinum sign-up bonus is more compelling, a lot more compelling than the Gold, because that one's weird, 105 for 12K. And the Platinum's weird because it's 11,000 in 6 months. So that's why I think these are probably just, they're testing some stuff out. Maybe they just threw in some numbers. I don't know. But those Delta ones seem to me to be kind of good and compelling in some ways. But the two MR inning cards, the Platinum and the Gold, I don't know. Those don't seem to fit what Amex has typically done and what I think they'll do going forward. King J says, do you think Amex will come out with a new green card? I do. I think they kind of have to, in that, not have to, no, they don't have to do anything. But as far as it makes sense, because that was like their original card. I had the green card back in 1995. I mean, that card is quintessential classic American Express. And they don't have a downgrade path for people who want to move down to something from their Platinum, from their Gold. And I think that's just probably a bad move on their part, because if there's no downgrade path, then that means people cancel. And at least if they downgrade, they can get some spend on a card and they can get an annual fee because, a lower level card can still have an annual fee. So I think there will be. That's just my guess, but I think so. Travel Fan, thanks for the gifted membership to Ebby. Chad says, I wish the lower tier Amex cards would earn MR points. Yeah, well, they used to, because I actually still have the Amex Everyday card. The only reason I haven't canceled it is I put both of my kids, that's the clear card, if you don't know, that old clear card, and it doesn't earn that well. It was never a great card, but I put my kids when they were still like young, junior high and high school, as authorized users, and I haven't canceled it because it's their oldest card and it helps their credit. Now they both own houses, the ones I did that with. So I guess it wouldn't matter because I might need to clear up an Amex spot for my 5 card spots one of these days, but I still have it. So they used to have a low-level MR earning card. Now they don't. But it was a credit card. It wasn't a charge card. So that's why you couldn't have downgraded from Amex Platinum or Amex Gold to that anyway, because it was a different card family, but it did earn membership reward points. Travel Fan, RM, do you have the Diners Club card too? No, I do not. That would have been one back in the day that I would have been able to get, but no, I don't have it. Does anybody have the Diners card? If you do, let me know. I don't know anything about it, to be honest, except that I know some people have it. All right, moving on. Travel report. And this one I'm calling the maiden voyage. So this is kind of the trip that got it all started. So Nona and I, we raised a family together, of course. We've been married 30 plus years, and we have 3 grown children and some grandchildren now. And our 3 grown children, we've been empty nesters now since, I don't know, probably 2018 or so. So in 2018, when our son went off to college and we became empty nesters, we said, all these years raising our kids, we took our kids all around the United States to do things. We went to DC as a family. We went to Disney a bunch of times. We went to Orlando for Universal. We went to Tampa, I remember. We went to San Antonio. We went to California a couple of times. We went to Yellowstone, Yosemite. We went to all these places as took our kids. And we just loaded them up in the Suburban, and that's what we did for vacations. Well, the kids get out of the house, and we said, well, we need to take a big trip somewhere, just the 2 of us. And this is, now I had points, and I paid for the flights with my United points because I had all these United points from flying as a status flyer with United for work. But I didn't really know points and miles that well in 2018. I just knew what I could do with my United points. And I had some Chase points that I would generally transfer over to United because I did have a Chase Sapphire Reserve at that time, which was kind of when it was early on. And so we went on this trip, and we went to Paris and to London for a couple weeks, and we had a very nice time. So this is us in London. So there I am on the left, and I'm standing in front of the Kingsman store because I thought those movies were kind of cool. And I found that store, and I was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. This is from the movie. And I don't think they probably have elevators and spy stuff in there, but it was still cool. There's Nona on the London Bridge in the middle, and there's us at the right. Is that Buckingham Palace or something behind us there? So we had a great time in London. It was a fun time. Enjoyed it immensely. And then we rode the train underneath the English Channel over to Paris. And there we are standing in front of the Eiffel Tower lit up at night. And then we're there in front of the Louvre. Now the Louvre is still bad blood between us because Nona did not like the Louvre. I'm a history guy and a history professor, as you know. So I loved the Louvre. And so she was wanting to go and I was wanting to stay. Now she does like museums, but we didn't get the audio thing, and we should have, because then she could have listened to that as we went through. But most of it was not in English. At least I guess you could have read the really small type at the bottom, and it was. But it was just an interesting day. But boy, the architecture was cool. So that was just kind of our initial maiden voyage that got us excited about international travel. And pretty much since then, we've almost gone on an international trip every year since then. And then in the last 4 or 5 years, we've gone on 2 to 3 a year. And so we went to Rome one year, and then Portugal the same year. And then we went to Paris the same year again. Then we went the next year to Abu Dhabi and Dubai and to Berlin. And we went to Zurich, and we've just been a lot of different places since. This fall, we're going to Hong Kong. And so we started all that, but it all started with that trip to London and Paris, flying in the back of the plane in coach. I hadn't yet introduced her to the glories of business class yet. And now that she's been up front, she don't want to go backwards. So that's kind of what got us all started. Let me go back to some of the comments. See if I got any starred comments that haven't been addressed. Not yet. Okay. Carl and Rob says the return hassle on portals is a pain. Unfortunately, Amazon makes it much easier. That's true. That's true. I generally don't buy a lot of things I have to return. Pretty much, if I'm buying things, I'm just not a return person. I don't generally. Most things that I order, if I'm going to wear it, it fits me, or I know I'm going to need it. So don't need to do that a lot, but I can see that point for sure. Whoopa New York says, I have the Clear Everyday card, which still earns points with no annual fee, but mostly don't use it as it really doesn't earn much points. But there was a special Amazon offer that I had. Yeah, I don't use it either. I mean, I just have it open because it helps my kids' credit. But yeah, I have that same exact one. No annual fee, earns MR points. Vincent Pascal says hello to Carl and Rob. Says 100%. Whoopa, spend $40 and get 1,000 points 3 times. That's pretty awesome. I do that with Capital One all the time, Dollar General. Vincent, Carl, and Rob, it helps that you can go through Whole Foods and UPS to make Amazon returns. Yeah, Amazon makes returns really easy. King J, do you think that the Conrad New York is a good property to use Hilton free night certs? We've stayed there. You're talking about the downtown one? We've stayed there. I think that's the only one now. And we did use free night certs, but I don't think I would use them there again. It's just not an expensive enough property most of the time. And I try not to use my certs for a hotel that's under $700, $800, $900. And I've been seeing that place a little cheaper than that. But as far as nice, it's nice. And the rooms were great. I think Nona would tell you that she loved the New York Conrad. And I will say they had one of the best concierges we've ever had anywhere. He helped us find rush tickets for some plays we wanted to go to. So I guess if the price was enough, because I just try not to use my free night certs for things that are under a certain threshold. But if it was enough, yes, I think it's a worthy property of it, I guess is the answer that I'd give. Travel Fan 11, the Amex Everyday card is a good placeholder for MR points when not having the MR charge cards. Yeah. So is the Blue Business Plus, though, which is arguably a much more useful card because it gets 2x everywhere. So, yeah. But yes, it'll hold your place. You won't lose your MR points if you cancel other cards, stuff of that nature. All right. I think that's all the comments for right now. So let's get on to the main event. We're at 33 minutes in, so it's a good time to get to it. All right, centerpiece. If I were limited, which cards would I keep of my 35 cards? So I added them up today, and I have 35 active credit cards between Nona and I. And I did this exercise because I'm thinking about trimming some of them because I just have, most of my cards have a utility. They have a place in my wallet or wallets because, I have several different. I have my travel wallet, I have my backpack wallet, I have my everyday wallet. And so in one of my wallets, all of these cards kind of have their place, except for some of the annual fee ones that I just don't cancel. But as far as all of the ones that have an annual fee, they have to have a place. But some of them I'm like, there's a little bit of overlap. Like, do I need lounge access at so many different places? I don't know that I do. So as I was going through and trying to decide what can I trim, and some of the ones that are on the chopping block are the City Strata Elite. I love the Elite card. I think it's a great card, but it's just sheer overlap. I mean, I don't use any of the multipliers, and the credits are just extra credits. I mean, it doesn't give me anything special. I don't need the AA, lounge visits. I don't need the priority pass. So it's just kind of a an overlap. And then I'm having to decide on things like the Globe card, which I also think is an outstanding card. But I'm probably going to be leaning, even though I'll keep some AA status, I'm going to be leaning heavier into Alaska status, Atmos status, because I'll get the same benefits on AA. So it's like, how do I decide? So what I decided to do in this exercise is to go through and ask myself, if I could only keep certain cards, what would I keep of my 35 cards? So I went through and I determined it based upon 10 cards. If I only could keep 10 cards total, what 10 would it be? And then if I could only keep 5 cards total, what 5 would it be? And then if I could only keep 3 cards total, what 3 would it be? And then the ultimate. If I only one card, if I could only have one credit card, which one would it be? And let me tell you, I thought this was going to be easy. It's not. So what I'd like to do is this to be, we got 62 people in here watching. I'd like this to be a group exercise. So tell me as we go through when I'm talking about what 10 cards I would keep, what are the 10 cards you'd keep? I'd be curious to know, and I'll read them out loud. And then it'll be easier when we get to, because I won't have to read as much, but it'll be hard to figure it out. When we get to the 5, and you might want to wait till we get to the 5, 3, and 1. But when we get to 5, that was hard. I mean, it was really hard going from 10 to 5. But let me tell you what was really hard was going from 5 to 3. Now, going down to 1 was kind of obvious for me. But the 5 to 3, that was rough. So I think it's a helpful exercise. Can you explain the works of using paves? I'm not an expert at that. I recommend you get on some of the Discords. You're a channel member, so you can get on my Discord. There's a lot of discussion about that on there. I know particularly Pays with some of the chase cards has been paying outstanding. So I'm sorry I'm not an expert at it, Chad, but I know there's a lot of information on the Discord. Travel fan, Walmart Plus provides easy returns if you need to go through Walmart stores. Yes, it does. And we do use that quite a bit. Whoopa, Chad Armin, spend $10 or more and get $10 credit 10 times per eligible card at Pays merchants. There you go. That's your answer. Dem, you won't get domestic AA lounge access with Alaska status, but you'll be covered with your executive card. Exactly. I know that. I'm looking more for the main cabin extra and possible first class upgrades on domestic flights. Tampa built as number 1. Okay. That's kind of a prediction. Only need 2, built Palladium and CSR. Okay, Big Red. Those are 2 powerful cards, that's for sure. Free music. My 5 built Palladium, Chase Sapphire Preferred, City Custom Cash, Blue Business Plus, and IHG Premium. Yeah, the problem is your City Custom Cash you can't use for transfer partners at a decent rate if you don't have a higher level City card. That's the only thing I see about that. P-Mart Supermart, Premier 3 Custom Cash built. Okay, that works. City Premier 3 Custom Cash and built. Says yes to Tampa. And Tampa Travel just used $100 built Blacklane credit trip for Lisbon to November. Build just keeps getting better. I agree. It does. Dan was upgraded twice this week to main cap. No, you were repositioned. Is that a better way to say it? You were repositioned. I'll just read it correctly. It was repositioned twice this week to main cabin extra with Alaska Silver status one-way Ruby. We'll hit Gold Sapphire next month. Awesome. In Costco, Credit Union, 1 Credit Union, 2 Venture X, Built, Venmo, Gold Business, Gold Personal, Platinum, and Debit Card. Okay, that's a very broad mix, but a lot of stuff there. Nuracan, nice, Dem. And Dem, 1 card. We all know it's the Palladium. All right, well, we will see. We'll see how your predictions pan out. Let's see, do I have another starred comment that I missed? I don't think so. All right, so going back to and getting to the 10. These are my 10. If I could only have 10 cards, I would keep my City Prestige card. That one is precious to me. So precious. Because I know it can be gotten again. And 5X on dining, 5X on airfare, the 2 fourth night free is just awesome. Bill Palladium card for obvious reasons. It's my catch-all for everything. City Custom Cash. I would keep one City Custom Cash. I have 3, but I would keep one. Then the Atmos Summit card, becoming one of my favorite cards in my wallet. Hilton Aspire card. I love that card. The Chase Rich Carlton card. Love that card. Don't put any spend on it, but I like the perks of the card, particularly Sapphire Lounge access. AA Executive card for obvious reasons because I get into so many AA lounges. Venture X card. Now I was kind of surprised because this card has been on the chopping block for me. I mean, I was just wrestling with it, but the Capital One offers, now that I've gotten on that train, they've been awesome. So I'm loving my Capital One officer. It's just like all the time. I'm getting extra points all the time. It's crazy. In fact, I'm calling my Venture X card my Dollar General card because it is my 17X at Dollar General all the time. It's crazy. So I would keep it in the top 10. Chase Sapphire Preferred only because I want to be able to transfer out my Chase points. And I don't think the card's terrible anymore. And then the Chase Ink Cash. If you know, you know. It's just a great card for getting 5X on a lot of stuff. It's a great card. So that's my 10. Comments or corrections? Let's see what everybody's got. Free music. City Custom Cash can transfer at 3.5X to AA on highest spend category. Not as good as 5X, but not terrible. Well, yes, but yeah, that's kind of painful to do. But yes, it can. Chad Harmon. To be honest, I'm a cashback. If all my cards disappear, I would as debit and cash like always. Okay. Practically speaking, that makes sense. Oh, let's see. Donley says it depends on how frequently you travel. If you travel a lot, then status matters more. If you travel infrequently, then points matter more. That's fair enough. If you travel a lot, then both of them matter. Just way it is. P Mart says, RM, what bothers you more? Comfort Plus is an upgrade or X dollars worth of points? I think X dollars worth of points, to be honest. Because I'm sorry, but 10,000 city points is not $100 worth of city points. Not when you use them like I do. So, but you know what? Teach their own. I love my buddy Travis, and he says that all the time. Point CFO, why not chase business preferred for 3X travel versus Sapphire preferred, which doesn't do anything special? Because I can get the annual fee back easy with the hotel credit, and because I don't need the 3X because I'm going to use my Palladium for that probably, or my Summit card when I'm traveling and get 3.3. Especially when I'm traveling overseas, and I don't do as much travel in the States. But Gary, good question. Nuracan, so new to having any airline status. Well, what kind of upgrade I'll get on Alaska flying San Diego, I guess, to LA with silver status with the Summit? You probably won't. You'll probably get an upgrade. It isn't an upgrade, but you'll get repositioned the day of flight to a Comfort Plus seat, which is good. As far as a upgrade to first class with silver, unlikely. Probably got a 5% chance. So that's the way that works. But the extra legroom seats they're nice. Nuracan probably won't get any of that on that small plane. Okay. Point CFO, I would put in Hyatt business card for globalist status by spending and drop the Venture X. Okay. Yeah, I've never had any Hyatt status. Not a big Hyatt person, but I could see that for some people that would make that list better. Money Miles Maven, my top 3, Built Palladium, City Strata Premier for JetBlue, AA, and hotel partners, and Ritz-Carlton for lounge and Marriott. I like that. The Ritz-Carlton's really grown on me for lounges. I just like the Sapphire lounges so much. And yeah, I forgot about the Hyatt Business. That's a must. I'm never going back to not having Globalist. Makes sense. I've heard that. Once you go Globalist, you don't go back. And King J, my 3 would be Amex Platinum for benefits, Surpass for everyday spend on the racketing card for elevating, shopping, and dining multipliers. Good choices. Dem says, Nurcan, you'll be eligible to move 24 hours prior to departure if there's availability. And James Tyler says, hey, RM, I was wondering if you had a thought how many times you would need to fly AA per year to make the new executive card worth it. Somebody asked me that in another live, and I think you probably need to fly, I don't know, 5 to 7 times a year to make it worth it. But you need to make sure you can use that AA. You need to have some paid stuff because you need to make sure you can use that new credit for AA vacations to get back some of the annual fee. And Mike says, I'd make room for another one of your cards by ditching custom cash and use ink cash more for 5X. Well, that could be done. But I figure with 10, I'm looking okay here. I don't really feel like I'm missing out a lot with this lineup. But then we get to where I am going to feel like I'm missing out a lot. And that's when we bump it down to 5. If I can only go to 5 cards, these are my 5. The City Prestige card, and that takes care of my city points, and I'm going to earn a lot of them with that card because I do every year. Bill Palladium card, City Custom Cash, because that's going to help my city bump that up. Atmos Summit card and the AA Executive. So what I've done is I have completely now shifted my focus only to City and Atmos. Now I've got Built there, but those are going to Atmos most likely. So my whole focus now is on City, so AA and Atmos, which is where most of my focus is now anyway. So I still think I'd be okay with this setup. I'm going to have some status because I don't have any cards for other airlines and things. I just have my AA Executive card for a lot of lounge access. I have my Atmos Summit card to help me get to status with Alaska. And then I have a lot of points engine here for both Alaska with Built and the Summit, and for American with City and the Custom Cash and the Prestige. So I'm getting a ton of 5X, and I'm getting a lot of 3X on top of that. So that's what I would do with the 5. Nuracan, nice to know. Thanks, Dim and RM. You're welcome. Jimmy Duff. Jimmy Duff says, anybody else experiencing screen freeze? It's all working good on my end. I hope not. Free music, Jimmy Duff. Nope, video's fine. Okay, must be something on your end, Jimmy. So that's my 5. Now it gets just so rough. It just gets so bad. This was the hardest one. What do I cut? To go down to 3 cards, what do I cut? And I just can't hardly believe what I decided to cut. But here's what it was. I know this is nuts because who gets rid of the Prestige card? But I can't see a world where I have to go down to 3 cards anyway. But if I did, I think these are the 3 I'm going to keep right now. The Built Palladium, the Atmos Summit, and the AA Exec. Now this, I have narrowed it down to where I'm going all in on Atmos points. But I have the AA Executive card because that's still going to get me my lounge access. So I'm going to have good priority pass with Built, and I'm going to have AA lounges and all the partner lounges with AA. So that's what I would do. I would just trim it down. I'm still going to get 3.5 to 4 on everything because I'm using the Palladium, and I'd be using it hard here. And then my Summit's going to give me 3.3x on everything overseas. And then probably my dining would go on the Summit card to earn points that way. And then the Executive card would just be all about perks. So that's where it'd be. Okay, let me go back to some comments. Nurcan, that's a great trio. Thank you. Appreciate it. I mean, I know there could have been other great trios made too, but that's kind of where I ended up leaving it at. Free music. Can't believe you would cut the city prestige in this thought experiment. I know. I couldn't believe it either. I was like, I mean, it was like I can't believe that I would get rid of the card that I most cherish, and I do cherish it. But here's the deal: the prestige card. If I get rid of, say, if I kept the prestige and got rid of the summit, the prestige doesn't help me with any status situations at all. And the other thing is that, yes, I'm getting 5X, but if I'm at such few cards and I'm trying to split ecosystems, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. And it may seem like I'm splitting ecosystems because I have the AA executive card, but I'm not. Because I'm still going to be flying AA, but I'm going to be focusing on the one that's going to get me the most overall points earning, right? Because if I kept the prestige card, then that means I have to have a different catch-all card. So if I keep the prestige and I keep the palladium, then what am I doing after that? Because then I've got, I could just keep the AA executive card, but I don't have any kind of engine to help me get to any level of status any better. Well, the AA card would help me when I hit the thresholds, but I don't know. It was very, very hard. And if I think about it again tomorrow, I might make a totally different decision. But that's kind of where I landed when thinking about it today. Vincent, my top 10 cards: Chase Sapphire Preferred, Ink Cash, Venture X Saver, Amex Business Platinum, Blue Business Plus, Ritz Carlton, Rakuten, Fidelity, and the Atmos card. Right now, Hawaiian Business. All right. That's a good lineup. Chad Harmon, it's like choosing which of your children to get in line. Yeah, it's like which one of my kids do I not love as much as the others, right? I mean, it's like a really difficult thought experiment. And Silver 3 says, my 5 would be Built Palladium, IHG Premier, Amex Gold, AA Globe, and Wells Fargo Autograph. That's a good lineup. That's a really strong lineup. Very diverse. Chad, it's like choosing which of your children to go live. Yeah. And, okay, Donnie 9410 says, with that logic, you could purchase Alaska Plus Lounge membership to eliminate the need for AA Executive. That leaves Built and Atmos. Yeah, I suppose I could. Problem is that AA Lounge, Alaska Plus Lounge membership, would that give me access to AA clubs? Because I'm flying AA. I'm not flying Alaska. They don't fly to my airports. So this is all about still flying AA, but the easier path to status and what I think are really useful points for our international travel. So I don't know enough about buying lounge access with Alaska to see what that ends up doing for me on American. All right, so wrapping this up with the last slide. Number 1, and this was really tough, but the number 1 is my Built Palladium. That's the one I would keep. It's the most valuable card in my wallet because it just earns so many points. It's just crazy. It just earns so many points. So that's where I'm at with it. So tell me what you think. I think most of you probably guessed that's where I was going to end up. Okay, we got a few new comments here. Oh, yeah, we got a lot of new comments. That's great. All right, Gary says, at that point, with just 3, I'd keep the prestige and drop the AA executive with the summit and the status. I would get a discount on the Atmos Lounge access. I don't use the AA card for any spending. Yeah, I understand that. Dem, I have the prestige and I'd be okay dropping it in this exercise too. So you'd be the same way? Yep, that's kind of, it was really hard because I love it, Dem, as you know, but if I'm having to choose 3, then I want to be able to get my lounges. So it's like, it's tough. Mike Newland says Palladium, Obsidian, and the City CSP. All right, that's good. Palladium and Obsidian. So you must have one with Player 2. And the City Strata Premier. That's a good lineup. Elman Gaming says can't have 2 Built cards, at least not yet. You can if you have a Player 2. Money Miles Maven, nice. I have the AA exec, but likely canceling because AA bucks and limited upgrades. Okay. And Point CFO, Gary says, I spend way too much on restaurants and restaurant business events and airlines at 5X to drop the Prestige. You also get twice per year, buy 3 nights and get one free. Prestige pays for itself. Yeah, it always does. It always does. I agree, but it'd be my number 4 if I was allowed to keep 4 for sure. Vincent Pascal, if I had to knock it down to 5, Sapphire Preferred, Ink Cash, Ritz-Carlton, Fidelity, and Atmos Card. That's a good lineup. Donnie says yes. Mr. Bobby says 5, CFF, CSR, United Explorer, Built Palladium, IHG. We got a United Flyer. That's cool. Point CFO, I'm almost 6-figure annual dining spend and only pay $175 yearly for it. Oh, yeah, because you get that discounted rate from back when you worked for them, right? Nuracan, we use the AA Executive just for the lounges. The only changes on that card have been for Avis and 10 pays $10 credits. Okay. Chad Harmon, sorry, autocorrect, screwing up my comments. It happens. Vincent, if only 3, Fidelity, Ritz-Carlton, and Sapphire Preferred. P-Mart. I can get it to come up here. Being a pain. P-Mart, Built Palladium is the 1-card setup for me too. Caldaird's 1-card setup would probably be the Strata Elite. It would be a decent 1-card setup for sure. A YouTube experiment, I was thinking it would be Prestige as transfer partners. Yeah, it just doesn't earn well on the every other. I have a lot of spend, a lot of reimbursed spend that comes back at non-category. That's my issue. Donnie says, sorry for the spam. Copy paste from Alaska website, AA lounges. Money Miles Maven, drop AA to keep Prestige. Use Built status to status match AA later. Oh, okay. I hadn't thought of that potential play. Paul Davis, my 5 favorites are MX Platinum, have 2, Aspire, have 6, AA Globe, have 3, and AA Business, have 3. Wow, that's a lot. Gravity, if you use Walmart Plus for groceries, it makes it impossible for even the most optimized setups to compete with the Palladium. Correct. Ian, if I had to pick just one card, it would be the Fidelity 3%, but you need $2 million in wealth management with them. 6-figure credit limit, though. Yeah, that's an awesome card for cash back. Caldaird's, do you have gold status with the 145 knocked off the annual fee? He's talking about why his Prestige is so cheap. 5 MX Platinums. Yeah, that would be a setup for sure. You'd get a lot on but the problem is the spending. Donnie, Alaska Lounge memberships have access to Admirals Club locations when arriving or departing the day on Alaska, Hawaiian, or American. Complimentary access for the immediate family or 2 guests. Thank you for the answer. Yep, I did not realize that, or I might have just done that. That would be a good play. Point CFO at Atmos 125,000 point milestone. One of the choices is a 1-year Alaska Lounge membership. Lounge Plus normally costs $795 a year, includes Alaska AA and nearly 90 partner lounges. That's a good play. Thank you, Gary. Caldaird's. Okay, let's see what else we got. Man, this is giving me trouble today. I like your top 10 list, the best out of all 3. Okay. Mary, $800 club plans for Alaska does include AA. 600 plan doesn't. Okay. Dan, what many people don't realize is if they were to average out the multiplier and catch all spend, I'm 99%. Many of us couldn't do better than the 3.5 all spend across all board, everything. 2 point between the 2x to 5x spending. That's kind of what I think about it as well. Built Palladium and CSR combo. All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you, everybody, for being here and for joining in. And there's several who gave several gifts and gifted memberships. So I definitely want to go through all of those and give a big thanks. First is to Ichachi for 250 jewels. like I said, I'm learning what those are, but I know they're beneficial. So thank you, Ichachi. I appreciate it. Ichachi has been a member for 5 months. I want to make sure we remember that. Dem gave $4.99 when he was bragging about his Comfort Plus upgrade. Thank you, Dem. Appreciate for that. Jimmy Duff gave $4.99. Thank you, Jimmy. Look forward to seeing you at the meetup. And Mr. Mike Newland, he gave a gift of $60. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it so much. Ebby gifted 5 Rewards Master memberships. Vincent has been a channel member for 10 months. And Gentleman Explorer gave $4.99 for my landscaper credit. So I appreciate every one of you guys very, very much. Let me get the last comments rolling in, and then we'll wrap up. Do you have a video on AA shopping portal? I think I do, but it's a couple years old, so I need to redo that. Thank you for reminding me, James. Hey, Blinken, every time. Don't know exactly what that's referring to, but fun one, thought-provoking. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. And YouTube experiment, are there no annual fee cards you plan to cancel? No, I don't ever do that because I figure if I don't care about it enough for them, they can shut me down if they want, but I don't ever think to do it. I will do it for Amex because I want to clear up one of those 5 card spots. Enjoy your evening, Chad Harmon. You too, Chad. I appreciate you. And Hybrid Vortex. Hey, Rewards Master, just drop by to comment and see you on the replay. Hope you enjoy it. Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. Thanks again for everybody who gifted those things. We talked a lot here about the spreadsheet warriors and what we do with that. It's pretty awesome. Consider upgrading to that. And if you do, you'll get to watch all of the old spreadsheet warriors because they're available only for members of that tier on my channel. So thank you all for being here, and I will see you here next time.